Hey, buds. Thank you for tuning into today's episode when you can literally be doing anything else.
If you guys are somehow liking the content that we're putting out for you guys weekly, please feel free to leave a like or a rating on Spotify or Apple Podcast.
And if you want to watch us, you can find us on YouTube at the Fantasy Buds Podcast. You can leave a like or comment, and you can subscribe to us.
And if you even for some reason decide you want to follow us on Instagram, we are at Fantasy Buds Podcast to keep up with all of our daily advice and shenanigans.
Thanks for listening, and hope you enjoy the show.
With Cooper Rush.
With Cooper Rush.
I'm going to tell you what, there is about to be a quarterback controversy, and I'm here for it.
I hope so. Go fuck yourself, Dallas.
Because all they did was shit on us when there was the quarterback controversies, and now they got the same, they're going to have the same shit now.
What goes around comes around, motherfucker.
And they just paid Dak.
Welcome back, buds, to the Fantasy Buds Podcast. It's your hosts, Brian, Mark, and Tim. We have a lot to discuss today. How are you gentlemen doing?
Not too bad.
Not too bad?
Yeah. Took a loss in the big money league, but it is what it is. We're 3-1, so.
I lost last night again to the man to my left. I was up by 21, and guess who we had left?
I'm going to say Cooper Kupp.
Rhymes with poop or schmup.
Yep.
The best receiver in fantasy.
And look, you know what?
Without a doubt.
I could be mad. I could be a lot more angry, but it's Cooper Kupp.
I think Cooper Kupp's got to be
like,
the first
I can't
pick.
be too mad that one of the best fantasy players of
Yeah.
all time scored 20 points. Like,
I think next year he's going to be the first pick.
I think
if it keeps going like this with
Probably,
running backs,
yeah.
probably, yeah.
I mean, dude, it's like he didn't miss a fucking beat. The
Yeah.
guy, like.
he's just incredible. He's automatic.
Every catch was 2-3 points automatically.
You can
Every
just count him
single
in.
They'll hyper target him.
He's like a
too.
Madden creative
Yeah,
player.
he
Like,
really is.
He's got
He's like-
99 everything, and you don't even have to think about it. You
It's
can
like
just press the
Madden.
button and throw to him.
Yup.
He's going to make something happen.
Your franchise mode, you keep peppering the same guy.
So I think we should move into a more serious topic.
Yeah.
From the Thursday night game this past week on Tua Tagovailoa and the impact of this injury.
Yeah.
Now, this was honestly one of the most disgusting moves I've seen a team make in a very long time. I've seen, and this was one of the most scariest injuries I've seen in a long time.
Yeah.
I've watched many games over the last 10 years. I've seen guys get their knees blown out. I've seen guys take cracks in the head also,
It's stepped on.
get stepped on, break their legs, break their arms, dislocate fingers, you name it.
Yeah.
But this was serious head trauma. Tua Tagovailoa suffered a concussion in that Bills game on Sunday. They claimed it was a back and ankle injury, and it is complete bullshit.
Yep.
Anybody watching will tell you that is a concussion. The fact that he hit his head on the ground, stood up, stumbled, got back up, grabbed his head, and stumbled again. To me, that is not, I'm no doctor, but that is not a back injury.
He should have been pulled out of the game.
He
right
should have been
there.
pulled out of the
Absolutely.
game. He shouldn't have finished that game.
His teammate even knew something was wrong. His teammate grabbed him to stop him from walking until the medical personnel
Nah,
came out.
it's clear.
It's like it was clear as day.
Clear something was wrong, and we got further proof something was wrong in the Thursday night game.
4 days later, he's in the game.
Short week, too.
Short week.
Yep.
That is not a lot of time. He wasn't in concussion protocol at all. They cleared him. They put him back in that game after 4 days after that incident.
Yep.
He gets tackled again, and his head hits the turf, and his body freezes up. His fingers twitched and interlocked, and it was the most scariest thing I've seen in a long
It
time.
was tough.
This guy looked like he was legitimately brain dead, and it looked like he wasn't going to be the same ever again.
Yep.
He might not be the same ever again. The Dolphins might have ruined this young man's career. He's our age.
Yep.
He's trying to get that
That's
contract.
Crazy. That's crazy.
He
to
spent his
think
whole
about.
life trying to play this game, play quarterback in the NFL, and this is what happens. They give him this much disrespect to just throw him out there. They probably convinced him, forced him, or lied to him.
And Reggie Bush said something about this before, about coaches kind of pressuring guys to go back in the game after an injury. They'll shoot them up with something, pump them full of some drugs, get back out there, And, a lot of people laughed at him. said he was silly for that. But, I mean, we're kind of seeing it. Right?
Yeah.
And, like, how many times has the NFL done this? How
They've
many
done
times
this
have teams
dating back
done this?
to the 70s. This has been happening for a very long time. Tua was stretchered off that field. He could barely move.
Yep.
He was then driven to the University of Cincinnati Hospital, and then further examinations, he began moving his extremities. They put a neck brace around his head, and he was discharged from the hospital, and he was able to go home after that. Now, he's already been ruled out for week 5, obviously. But this is a report I got off ESPN. I found it on Twitter. The unaffiliated neurotrauma consultant involved in clearing Dolphins quarterback Tua Tagovailoa during Sunday's game against the Bills has been fired after it was found he made several mistakes in his evaluation.
He's the scapegoat.
According to
Yeah.
ESPN and multiple reports, this guy made this many mistakes. This is a professional taking care of another man's life, and he just put it on the line by making these mistakes. He went to school for how many years, probably?
See, I don't think it's him, though. What I think happened was I think he was probably saying this guy's not okay, and they said, we don't give a fuck, put him out there.
That very well
And
could
now
be.
that what happened on Thursday night, they're using him as the scapegoat and blaming it on him because of all the heat that they've been getting for the last week and a half.
This
Honestly, I
also
don't
isn't
blame
the
that.
first. Look, this is a league where we have had proof of coaches paying players to injure other teams' offensive players. And we have proof of this.
Yep.
And they are more than likely not I'm talking about the Saints. They are more than likely not the only team to have done this. The NFL has been around for a long time. And this clearly isn't the first time there's proof from players that they have made guys go back out there with an injury. You know, I mean, who knows? You know, I'm even starting to believe Antonio Brown a little bit at this point. When he says they tried to force him back out there. Now, look, he did blow up and take off his shirt and cause a scene and run off the field. But, I mean, I just won't be shocked if that's true at this point. And this isn't the first time the Dolphins have done shady shit. Stephen Ross has already been in some shit before about paying coaches to lose games. You know, Brian Flores tried to warn us about the Dolphins. And here the Dolphins are yet again, 1 year later, in the middle of a whole nother controversy. Depending on how this goes with Tua, I think they're fucked. The Dolphins.
Yeah.
Like, I think something's going to have to happen to them.
People need to be fired. People need to be held accountable.
The owner needs to be,
100%.
I don't know. I mean, look, like the NFL owner circle is a big boys club, so it's not going to happen. But he should have to sell the team.
Yep.
Stephen Ross.
I mean, I thought we were past this because you go back to the 70s, Hall of Fame center Mike Webster for the Steelers, he suffered severely to concussions and CTE. And this is a 4-time Super Bowl champion, a Hall of Famer. And then 10, 15 years after his retirement, he's in a car. He's like doing drugs. He's not himself. He completely loses his mind and he eventually takes his life.
Yep.
So we've seen Junior Seau take his life. We've seen all kinds of guys. Demarius Thomas
more
had a
recent
seizure,
guys. Yeah.
Yeah.
and it was probably from CTE.
Vincent Jackson.
Yep.
Vincent Jackson.
I had Vincent Jackson in fantasy 1 year. And now this guy is dead. And he died at a very young age. And so did Demarius Thomas. Like, it's a shame. And I'm telling you, Antonio Brown is a living case
Yeah.
of this.
CTE.
And
I'm worried that he's going to hurt himself.
and
one day.
he probably will someday. And this is going to keep happening in the NFL. And it's you know, it's a shame. It really is. Like, it's like you said, these guys worked their whole lives. Tua, in this case, is our age, working for a contract, you know, a big extension, trying to get that quarterback money. And he was proving a lot of people wrong early in this season. I just hope that it doesn't throw his whole career off. You know, I hope he comes back and he's okay, but it's a scary situation.
Absolutely.
I hope he ends up playing for another team, honestly.
Honestly,
I hope he demands a trade.
I mean,
He should.
he should be pissed.
He absolutely should. He should be absolutely annoyed. Pissed off, everything.
He should be
It's-
pissed.
It's disgusting. So neuroscientist Chris Nowinski, I took this quote off Twitter, and he said, if Tua takes the field tonight, it's a massive step back for concussion care in the NFL. If he has a second concussion that destroys his career or season, everyone involved will be sued and should lose their jobs, coaches included. We all saw it. even they must know this isn't right. And this was right before the game,
Thursday night, right?
Yeah.
Thursday night.
And look what happened.
Look what happened.
That's what I'm even saying. Like, I even think Mike McDaniel needs to get fired after that. Like, he had to know. There's no way you don't know.
I want
you know.
I want to think that way, but I don't know. Maybe he was also lied to.
Could have been,
because he's also this is his first year.
First time, and like you just want to look at Mike McDaniel and believe if he knew he would take Tua out of the game.
I'd like to think that somebody wouldn't be that evil.
Yeah.
Especially like you're considered a leader of men. These
I
guys
can
are depending their livelihood on you.
But I can definitely believe that the GM or the owner is evil.
Oh, without a doubt.
Like that, yeah, and doesn't care. I mean, yeah. I want to believe Mike McDaniel didn't know, but I guess we'll probably get more and more info about this as time goes on. I think the Dolphins are fucked because of everything you just said, basically.
I think they should be. I think Stephen Ross, just like the situation Dan Snyder's in, these owners need to be removed because they are in a position of power and they abuse it. And they take advantage of their workers, the fans, and most importantly, their players. You could tear your leg up before your contract, and they will leave you in the fucking streets. They will not even blink.
It's not right to be, and it makes sense from a business standpoint, but like it's fucked. Like these guys give everything.
These are fucking humans
for your logo, your organization. And like you said, these are people. Tua is a living, breathing guy, just like the three of us.
Living out his fucking dream.
Yep.
And it's a shame.
It damn well might be crushed because of this.
We're praying for Tua.
I'm hoping not. So
absolutely praying for Tua.
I hope he makes a full recovery and he's able to step back onto the field and go and win Super Bowls.
Yeah.
Like, be the quarterback that he's always wanted to be.
Yep.
So I think that's enough about that topic. Not to be too gloom today because it is raining. Let's move on to some teams that have a little bit more happiness around the building. And that, ladies and gentlemen, are the 4-0 Philadelphia Eagles, the only undefeated team left in the NFL.
Well,
who would have thought?
But you guys have had an easy schedule.
The same thing in 2017.
So far. You have the easy. Okay, well then why aren't the Commanders and the Cowboys 4-0? Then.
Doesn't matter.
I just love it because they say easy schedule when we're the Vikings.
Bless you.
Bless you.
When we're the Vikings only lost and we beat Jacksonville, who shut out the Colts and blew out the Chargers.
Mm-hmm.
And we beat the number one scoring team in the NFL. I know their record is 1-3, but they really shouldn't be. You know, the Lions are scoring 35 points a game and allowing 35 points a game.
They scored 45 Sunday and lost 48-45.
How do you score 45 and lose?
Exactly.
In a game? Like, how are you doing that? And I mean, look, Jalen Hurts, pouring rain, and he did get the job done. Look,
it was a monsoon out there. We knew the stats were
not the prettiest stat line at the end of the game. Still got the job done. And Trevor Lawrence turned the ball over several times in that game. And, Jalen Hurts turned the ball over. He did, but one time. And this has been a story from Jalen Hurts so far is he really doesn't turn the ball over. And to only do it once in a monsoon, is amazing. And
Trevor Lawrence had 5 turnovers.
He did. And I mean, Brown, another good game from A.J. Brown. He has kind of proven himself as a wide receiver too, steady in fantasy, plug him in every week.
But he's a wide receiver 1 in the NFL.
He is, but he gives you a wide receiver 1 upside, but he gives you a nice floor. So he's clearly Jalen Hurts' favorite target. There's no question about it. And he's paying off for you.
Yeah.
If you got him in your 3rd, maybe 4th round, if some guys faded him in your league, paying off for you. Tell you what, you're definitely making out better than him than you did if you took a dead zone running back. Without a doubt. So
yeah. Look, the running back position. Of course, when we shit on it last week, they all fucking go off this week. But that being said, even though that they did go off this week, from this tweet I found by Ryan McDowell. Saquon Barkley's 86 fantasy points is the lowest for an overall RB1 through the first 4 weeks of the season since 1997.
Yeah.
I don't know about you guys, but we weren't alive then.
Yeah.
Pretty sure we weren't alive.
Now, I will say,
certainly
though,
wasn't.
the running back who did it was Curtis Martin. So
He's a Hall of Famer.
who's a Hall of Famer. And I will say, pretty much after that, we did get some workhorse running backs that came into the league, in the mid 2000s. But right now, it's not looking like that.
It's not looking too good.
I think the league is changing.
Maybe if you went 0 RB and you got Miles Sanders of the Eagles, he had a solid day. And he's looking like a solid RB2 moving forward. I completely faded him. And at this point, I'm looking to kind of trade for him.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I kind of feel dumb now knowing in our one league because the one guy kept trying to trade me him for weeks on weeks, and I kept saying no. And now here we are.
Yeah,
Dave,
but
he kept trying to trade me him, and he just kept trying, and I just kept saying no. And
he's probably
Miles
Sanders
yeah,
now.
Miles
there's no shot.
Sanders had 0 touchdowns last year. He literally said, "Do not draft me in fantasy this season." We should have known that, just all green light to draft him.
Yeah,
But,
we should have known.
We should have known. Of course, this is the year.
He was bullshitting us
like
the whole
fucking
time.
Josh Jacobs, best game since Alabama for him this week. I don't care.
Oh my
Trade
God.
Josh Jacobs. I don't care if you have.
It's not happening again.
Trade him.
I'd be sending
Do
him
whatever
to
you can.
every team in your league, packaging him with stuff. I'd be trying to trade him fucking anywhere I can. Yeah, he's not gonna do that again.
And I'm still worried about like Devonta Smith, like moving forward a little bit with the Eagles, as I feel like he's going to be another Mike Williams this season, productive wise.
He could be just because of the amount of weapons the Eagles have now.
Yeah, like Dallas Goedert, he's getting his every game.
Like
Yeah.
I feel like he's kind of forced to. It's almost like a T. Higgins Chase situation where one of them is probably going to eat, and then the other one is going to be mid that week.
Mhm.
But I think more often than not, it's going to be AJ Brown that eats.
I think
And then
Right now, it's looking like it's Higgins.
right
The
now
Bengals.
it is.
Right now, it's Jamar Chase is not doing too hot. And it's Higgins' team right now, apparently.
He was
He's a
there
buy low.
first.
I would buy low on Jamar Chase.
Yeah, see if somebody will give you Jamar Chase for Josh Jacobs and something.
You could probably
See how desperate somebody
see
is.
how desperate somebody is. Maybe that Jamar Chase owner is 1-3 or 0-4.
Maybe he's tiny.
Poor little guy.
He
He
does it
is.
to himself every year.
He's just not very good.
No, his
does it to
team
himself every
is
year.
garbage. I feel sorry, buddy. But
Sorry, man. Like
your
it
team
just
is
doesn't fucking work for him.
I
I don't know what he's got to change.
speaking of running backs, I do want to move on to a team that's been very underwhelming this year. Coach is on the hot seat. They got a new quarterback. The Colts. And what the fuck is going on in Indianapolis right
You're
now?
starting off. You're considered playoff contenders, maybe in some eyes like Super Bowl contenders.
And they
getting
did
Matt
have
Ryan-
a pick to win the Super Bowl before the year.
Yeah. So, and you're starting off 1-2-1. Now it's very early in the season. I get it, and they're not like 0-4.
They did beat the Chiefs.
Yeah, but it's like the inconsistency of this team is just ridiculous. And the fact that Jonathan Taylor was the consensus #1 pick in most drafts this year in fantasy, and he's just
Marcus Mariota has more points than he does.
like, what the fuck?
He has one game above 12 points this year, and that was week 1, where he had about 34 touches. And
I think he had, 30-something, I think, that week or something?
yeah, he had like 31 carries and like 4 catches. But
Yeah.
here's another thing about that. He's not being used in the receiving game. Really not at all, to be honest. He has 9 catches through 4 games. Matt Ryan has 5 touchdowns and 7 turnovers through 4 games.
It's just they keep doing these Band-Aid quarterbacks. They bring in washed-up quarterbacks that are not very good at all.
They haven't been a great offense, and that's not good for Jonathan Taylor.
And they have all these pieces on the offensive side of the ball. They have all this talent on defense, and yet they just can't get the quarterback position right.
He's not being, and it's like that is hurting JT. He's not. He is not. Look, running back, volume dependent, who doesn't catch passes. Who do we fade before the year for all those reasons? Najee Harris. And look at what's happening with Najee Harris right now. Volume dependent, not explosive running back who doesn't catch the ball out of the backfield.
Has yet to break 15, I think.
Now, Jonathan Taylor is explosive. He will give you those long touchdowns. But look, I mean, if I was playing against the Colts, I'd be stacking the box and blitzing every play.
This
Pretty
is
much
like
it.
Todd
And
Gurley again.
Matt Ryan's a statue. You know, like if you, he's done. Matt Ryan. At this point, he might not even be an upgrade over Carson Wentz.
No, he's not.
At
I
this
think at
point
this
in his
point, he's a
career.
downgrade.
I'm pretty sure I saw Pro Football Focus. Carson Wentz's rating was 58.3, and Matt Ryan was 59.5. So he's just a point better.
But like, it doesn't
Carson
feel
Wentz.
better.
Doesn't
It
though.
doesn't
feel
feel
better.
better at all.
Yeah,
It feels
doesn't feel
worse
better
off,
at all.
actually.
Frank Reich is on the hot seat, without a doubt. I think if they go 1-3-1, 1-4-1, he's fired.
I wouldn't say that.
I don't think they're going to do that this year. I
I
think
think-
it's an
I
off-season
don't know.
move.
I think when they hit like 6-7 losses, like if they're, let's say they're 2-8-1, I think that's when that kind of thing happens.
I could see like middle of November.
Middle
It's
of
still
November.
early.
honest.
They can
Still
still
a
get
little
it
early.
together. The division is kind of weak as shit.
It's wide
wide
open.
open. I mean, the
yeah.
division leader is 2-2.
Yeah.
They're basically a half game behind.
It's wide open, but I am worried about Jonathan Taylor.
I am too.
I will admit I am worried about him.
Yeah.
I'm not saying trade him and give up on him, but it's something to
Unless
keep
you
an-
get like a haul.
I would shop him.
Yeah.
If
shop
you're-
It's
him.
something to keep an eye on.
If you can get a
Yeah.
haul for him, definitely.
Yeah, I would say if you're like 0-4, 1-3, it's not like the rest of your team's not really looking any good because you probably had the first overall pick
I'd have to
and-
wait.
and had to wait and missed out on a bunch of players. And if you're second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth round picks, if none of those guys are hitting either, and Jonathan Taylor isn't, you could still trade him off his name and maybe get a receiver and running back, like
Yeah.
two top 15 guys for Jonathan Taylor.
Who's been disappointing?
Who's been disappointing. And if the rest of your team is looking pretty weak, you could possibly get 2-3 players for him. And I'm not saying trade him for absolute garbage. Like try and get T. Higgins, guys like that. Try and get who's another running back? Maybe Austin Eckler.
Yeah.
Based on the receptions that he gets.
Yeah.
Maybe a guy that has Austin Eckler and T. Higgins, you could trade Jonathan Taylor for that. And I think that would be a decent trade if your team's struggling.
Even I don't know. I mean, maybe if somebody has Saquon at his 1-3, who has a bad team,
Yeah.
you trade him off for
I
Saquon
would
and
actually
a
rather do
receiver.
that.
You know, I mean, look, I wouldn't be looking to trade Saquon right now, but if the
that
team,
is
but
struggling.
my team I have Saquon on is 4-0. If you're 0-4, maybe, you know, you need to shake things up a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, like, but if a team's a positive if a team has a positive record, you can't go after these guys. You got to get somebody who's desperate.
I will.
You know, somebody who's 1-3, 0-4, like bottom of their division. They have a strong division. Like they need to do something.
I want to make an example. So there's always context within your season. Now, teams that might be 1-3 and 0-4, it feels bad because you're not winning. But what are your players doing? How many points are you scoring? Who are you getting matched up with every week? That should be taken into consideration. Like, for example, in our big money league, I am 1-3. But the last 2 weeks, I scored 124 points, then 131 points. I lost both weeks. I've broken 100 every week. I believe I have a good team and good players there. It just hasn't really come together
Right.
consistently enough yet. But when I'm saying this because I'm not going to just trade guys because it's like I need to shake it up.
Right.
Sometimes you might have to trust the process.
Right.
Now, if you get to 0-5 and 0-6, that's a different story. But I like to look at the seasons in quarters. So every 4 games is a quarter of the season. So first month you go 2-2. All right, not bad. You go 2-2 over the next couple of quarters, you're 6-6.
Yep.
And you either got to win one game or maybe win the next 2, but you have that shot still. Just because you're 0-4 doesn't mean the next month you can't go 4-0.
Yeah.
It's not like your team has actual morale. These are players on a screen. You can get it together. And if your team's not scoring a lot of points and you're getting blown out and it's not looking good, then that's when I say you should probably shake it up with some of your best players.
Absolutely.
But don't
Yeah.
donate them either.
Like, I hate to just keep throwing Tiny under the bus, but Tiny is getting blown out. Like I'm looking at his games, and in a 10-team league, he scored 100 points this week. If I were Tiny, I'd be really trying to shake it up. I mean, you're getting blown out every week. Like, you're at the point where people don't even want players on your team. You know,
and you might have to trade your best players.
You might have to deal, but like in this case, your best player is Najee. Who
is it though?
Maybe. I mean,
think
T. Higgins, Najee or T. Higgins is your best player. Or Kyle Pitts, based off his name. But I do want to talk about Kyle Pitts.
Yeah.
Let's talk about him.
Because the misutilization of this man has been criminal so far this season. But Arthur Smith needs to be thrown in prison. How can you not figure out how to use, like, why even draft him with the 4th pick? Like, it's a premium first-round pick.
Blocker.
And you want to use it. Okay, look, I get it. It's not fantasy football. You want to win, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
I get it. You're 2-2. You're not going to make the playoffs. You have Mariota as your quarterback. Your defense is still bad. You know, you're scoring a lot of points and losing. They scored over 26 points in almost every game this year. You're scoring and still losing. Maybe if your star tight end, your offensive weapon, who has shown he can run routes on the outside, who can match him up in the slot with linebackers. He's a mismatch nightmare, and you really just can't figure it out? Like you can't scheme him open? You're an NFL coach.
See, that's the thing, is we're looking at the fantasy aspect and the numbers and everything. But he's 2-2 right now.
Yeah.
So things feel good.
But I mean, I'm even talking about like just getting him more touches. Like 4 targets this week, 22 the whole year through 4 games. I'll give you some other tight ends who have more targets than Kyle Pitts this year, who are being implemented into their team's offensive game plan more than Kyle Pitts. And I'm just going to tell you guys already, every single one of these players was drafted after Kyle Pitts. Some of them might have even been waiver ads in your league. Zach Ertz, 31 targets this year, has been a part of the Cardinals' game plan every single game this year. Now, DeAndre Hopkins is out. Maybe it's skewed a little bit, but I don't care. You have a pass-first fucking offense with an offensive-minded coach, and he's getting targeted. Gerald Everett, 26 targets on one of the, now that the Chargers have Keenan Allen out.
Yep.
There's still a high-flying offense with a hot-shot quarterback. 26 targets for Gerald Everett. He's been very solid this year, and he was added off waivers for you. You didn't draft Gerald Everett. More than likely. Maybe you did in the last couple rounds.
I certainly didn't.
TJ Hawkinson, who was very disappointing.
Nuclear.
The first 3 games. 30 targets. Went off this week. Look, I'm not saying he's going to do that every week, but I'm just trying to get the point across here. 30 targets, and he was not even part of the game plan in the first 3 games. It was the DeAndre Swift, Amon-Ra St. Brown show.
Yep.
Well, and fucking Jamal Williams, but that's another thing. Pat Freiermuth, 30 targets. Either was drafted in the later rounds or was a waiver ad for you. David Njoku, 23 targets, more than Kyle Pitts this year. He was a waiver ad. I don't care. You didn't draft him with a high pick.
No.
He was double-digit rounds or a waiver ad. You took Kyle Pitts in the 4th, maybe even the 3rd round in your league. Hell, if you drafted a 14-team league, you might have fucking fell in love with him and taken him in round 2. And I will say, Kyle Pitts is a big reason why Tiny does not have a good team right now.
It is.
100%.
It's a huge reason. He spent a premium pick on Kyle Pitts, and he's not doing anything. And I don't blame Kyle Pitts. We've seen it. We saw it last year. I don't blame Tiny. I wanted Kyle Pitts. If Tiny didn't take him, I would have taken him in that round. I was praying he would come back to me in that round. I loved Kyle Pitts before this year. I still believe in the talent.
Yep.
I don't believe in Arthur Smith. I don't care that they're 2-2. I'm not an NFL head coach. I'm not some offensive genius or anything. But you can't scheme the guy open. Like
Nope.
you're really just going to use him as a sign Jesse James then. You know, like I don't know.
What do you think, Tim, about Kyle Pitts?
I didn't like him going in because I just didn't trust Mariota.
That's fair.
That's kind of how I felt.
That's fair.
About it.
I just don't understand how, even from removing the fantasy aspect from it, I just don't understand how, when you have a generational talent like him, how you're just not going to use him. Doesn't matter if you're 2-2. He's a generational talent. You know when the time comes, he's going to want big money. And you're just going to sit here and you're not going to use him? Because if I'm Kyle Pitts and I'm like, all right, well, I'm going to get my money. Fuck this. I'm not coming back here. I'm going to go to a place where I'm going to be used.
Yeah, I'll go sign with the Chargers or, you know,
if anything,
even the fucking Jaguars at this point.
You can't,
you know?
I just don't understand like the football process of you have this guy and you're just going to not use him.
Look,
I just don't get
for
it.
some reason, this is why they make the big bucks and we make nothing. So
maybe it'll keep working.
I think we should just wait and see with Kyle Pitts. I don't think you're going to get anything for him, and I don't think he's worth dropping either.
Exactly.
So right now you're going to be in purgatory.
Yep.
The tight end position, it's tough. It's rough and tough, and
just to close out Kyle Pitts, because I don't want to spend too much time on one guy, but are you guys worried? Because I am.
Yes.
I'm worried.
I'm really worried.
Based on, I think most Kyle Pitts owners are in the 1-win-0-win club.
And it's not their fault, but
it wouldn't be terrible if it wasn't a premium pick, like you said.
Exactly.
If this was like, if you took him in like the 10th round or something like that, all right, it's not that big of a deal. But it's a 3rd round, 4th round pick.
Right, on a tight end.
14-man league, I think in our 14-man league, I don't remember correctly, but I think he did go 2nd round. I think Max took him 2nd round, didn't he? Or was it 3rd?
I think he went into 3rd.
3rd, okay.
But
that's still a premium pick. And in a 14-man league, that's even worse.
Right, because you already have nothing.
By round 5, you're on like 3rd string wide receivers, so
it's a little rough over there in Atlanta.
Yeah.
But
let's move on. What do you want to go to next, Brian?
I want to talk about the kid, Kenny Pickett, taking over the Steelers offense. What do we think about that? Because I think this is going to be a spark. I think with some teams that own Najee Harris, maybe Deontay Johnson, George Pickens even, they're a little desperate. They're probably not winning many games. And I think you could probably get these guys cheap, and Kenny Pickett will move the ball better than Mitch.
Yep.
They will score more points than Mitch, and I think this will be a better team moving forward. I think it'll be a more competitive team moving forward on offense with Kenny Pickett. What do you guys think?
I agree. I think it's definitely, with Kenny Pickett coming in, I think now there's a lot more value for like Deontay Johnson, guys like that, Najee Harris with the dump-offs. But I do also think I don't think there's really any reason for concern yet. Okay, yeah, he threw interceptions last game, a few of them, but it was his first game.
Yeah.
And he didn't even start the game. He came in once they said, all right, Mitch Trubisky fucking sucks. We'll put him in. So just give it might take a little bit. You're not going to probably see a lot of production right away. This might be like a 3 to 4 game thing where guys start getting more and more. As time goes on, they'll get more points. But if I'm any of those owners, I'm really happy right now, especially if I'm Deontay Johnson, because I got a feeling he's just going to start getting peppered.
And
with targets.
If you are a team that's 3-1, 4-0, I would probably try and get these players cheap. Maybe you're struggling in your running back 2 area. Maybe you took guys like Saquon. Maybe this could be a trade for you, Mark. Moving forward.
I don't even know if I
want to put any fucking ideas in your head.
I don't even know if I want.
I wouldn't make moves if I were you. You're 4-0.
Because getting to I don't think the Steelers' offense is going to be that much better.
I mean,
I think it'll be better, like you guys said, but I don't think it's going to be.
It's a question mark.
At the end of the day, you did come in versus the Jets and throw 3 picks. He did run for 2 touchdowns, but is that good for Najee? You know, so it's like I don't really believe. I think if anything, they might jump like 3 spots. But like I don't think it'll be much better. The offensive line still is not great. You know, like I
agree with that.
I don't know. Mike Tomlin's a good coach. Maybe they'll figure it out, but I don't know. Will it be better? Yes. It's just how much better is it really going to be? You know?
That's true. But I like that kind of upside and the unknown of a rookie. sometimes.
Versus
And-
the established, disappointing veteran. That's
Yeah,
true.
and I
agree
think-
with that.
I think these are good coaches in Pittsburgh. I think there's good skill players there, and I think they can make something happen. And with Kenny Pickett being, the new young toy, that offensive line might look a little better because he's a better mobile quarterback than Mitch is. Because Mitch, he just fucking stinks.
Yeah, he just doesn't really give you
He's not
anything.
making anybody look good. Sorry. I mean, that's just how it is. So I'm interested in the Cowboys offense winning without Dak Prescott with Cooper Rush in a quarterback, and CeeDee Lamb is looking like a wide receiver one
With Cooper Rush.
with Cooper Rush.
I'm going to tell you what. There is about to be a quarterback controversy, and I'm here for it.
I hope so. Go
I'm
fuck yourself,
I fucking
Dallas.
because all they did was shit on us when there was the quarterback controversies, and now they got the same. They're gonna have the same shit
Yeah.
now,
What goes around comes around, motherfucker.
and they just paid Dak too.
Same thing with Carson
No,
Wentz.
This is way
Yup.
too. This is
Oh,
way
how the
too
turntables
close.
have
They
turned,
just
baby.
paid Dak. Dak before he was injured. Let's face it, looked like shit this year.
Yeah.
Looked like
Even
shit.
before the injury, he
Before
looked like
the-
dog shit.
And there was buzz Dak was maybe coming into this year already injured. Okay, that's fair. That does happen. But Cooper Rush, what's he lost one game as a starter? Going back to last year,
No,
too?
he's 4-0 as a starter right
Yeah.
now.
I think he's
Oh, wait, no.
undefeated.
The only game the Cowboys lost was when Dak went out, right?
Yeah.
When he started the game. So Cooper Rush didn't start the game.
No.
He just finished it.
He just finished the game. Okay, so he's still undefeated as a starter.
Yeah.
And CeeDee Lamb is finally coming alive. He has some signs of life.
Now, is he as wide receiver one-esque as we all hoped? Not really, but he's been solid. I can't really complain. He's been getting the targets every week. He's got
Double-digit targets.
40 targets
Pretty
through
much, yeah.
4 weeks.
I think now with Gallup coming back too, it's going to help him a lot going forward.
I think it's
Exactly.
going to help him a
People
lot.
gonna
think
help him
that
a
hurts
lot.
him. I think CeeDee Lamb, he's not that alpha.
Well, I think it benefits both. I think that's what it's going to be. I think it's going
Yeah.
to be one of those things where they're both going to help each other. But I definitely think CeeDee Lamb now is going to be getting more targets. I don't think it's going to eat into his targets. I think it's going to be the same.
I think so too. I'm worried that Dak Prescott comes back the same way Russell Wilson did last year for the Seahawks when he hurt his hand. And he's going to come back too early, and that offense is going to struggle. And
Yep.
I'm worried right now as a CeeDee Lamb owner, I'm hoping Cooper Rush stays in, at least until Dak is 110%
Yeah.
back to normal. And the running back room, whatever, flip a coin. Throw somebody out there. Somebody's going to score. Somebody's going to get the yards.
That's what it feels
I don't know
like
what
at
to
this
tell
point.
you. I'm sorry. It's
You're
just
just
a
bet-
fucking mess.
You're just betting on which running back's going to score
Yep.
this week.
Might as well play Russian roulette.
It's brutal.
Very
Brutal.
brutal. Well, with that being said, I think we should play a very brutal game that I whipped up for you two. So, gentlemen, put your phones away, please.
Sorry, I got to.
Oh, go ahead. Text your mother.
Yeah, it's.
Uh,
I think about it. Brandon just texted me too. No, I think about it.
take your time.
Yeah, I'm trying to. It's trade
I'm
season right now,
sorry.
dude.
No,
I'm
no, no,
sorry.
that's not
I'm
even
trying
a-
to make moves.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool. We're just trying to
She
film a
te-
show.
She texted me at the worst time. With important things at the worst time.
Okay. So, this game is what I like to call match that stat or go shit in your hat. These are players who had similar stat lines in their position groups. And through each round, I will give you 3 players who all definitely had the similar stats.
Okay.
Well, you have to guess which stat line is the right player.
Okay.
And I'm hoping it's a lot harder than I think it will be. So let's start with round 1. Fight. This running back had 28 carries for 144 yards and 2 touchdowns in week 4. Which of these players match that stat?
I already know
Saquon
who it
Barkley,
is.
Josh Jacobs, Miles Sanders.
Josh Jacobs, wasn't it?
No, it's fucking Miles Sanders, I think. Because
What's your final answers?
No, I think it was Josh Jacobs because Miles
I think-
Sanders had one, and then Gainwell had the other.
Did he?
I think Josh Jacobs had over 30 carries
Miles
this week.
Sanders did have two. Miles Sanders. It is Miles
Wait,
Sanders.
1 touchdown or 2 this week? 2, right?
28
You said.
carries, 144 yards, and 2 touchdowns.
All right, Saquon's out. He was 1 TD this week.
I'm gonna go with Josh. I'm pretty sure it was Josh Jacobs.
I think it's Miles Sanders.
I'm gonna go with
Okay,
Josh Jacobs.
So you're saying
I'm saying Josh Jacobs.
Miles Sanders? The correct answer is B. Josh Jacobs.
Oh my God!
It's because I want against them in my league.
Fucking
That's why.
overthink.
Here,
Every aspect of my life.
but here's the stat lines for these players. So Saquon Barkley, 31 for 146, but he had 0 touchdowns.
Okay.
Oh, Saquon had 0 TDs. He's
That's
fucking
0.
on my team, and I don't even.
Josh Jacobs, 28 carries, 144 yards, 2 touchdowns. But Miles Sanders, 27 carries, 134 yards, 2 touchdowns.
Josh Jacobs 28.
Oh, Miles
carries.
Sanders did have 2.
Yes.
See, I
I
thought.
must have missed one.
Okay, so I thought Josh Jacobs had over 30 carries. He had over 30 touches.
There was no
This
passing
week.
touchdowns in the Eagles game. It was all rushing.
All right.
Yeah, including Jalen Hurts.
Well, I knew
Mhm.
Jalen Hurts had 1, and then I knew that Gainwell had 1. I
Well,
just couldn't remember.
Good
somebody else
start to
had
that
1 or not.
game.
Okay, so
2 different
Tim's 1,
answers.
Mark 0. Round 2. This receiver had 7 catches on 9 targets for 124 yards and a touchdown in week 4. Which of these three players matched the stat?
I know
A.
who it is.
Debo Samuel. B. DK Metcalf. C. T. Higgins.
T. Higgins.
What was it? 7 catches, 119 yards, and a TD.
7
No.
catches, 124 yards and a touchdown.
124 yards.
T. Higgins.
T. Higgins. Because I don't think Debo had that many yards.
Debo don't have that many yards. Metcalf had.
He had
I
over
think-
100,
I think
but-
Metcalf had 7 for 128.
No, he didn't.
It wasn't. I know Higgins. It's 7, 124 and a touchdown. I have Higgins.
I'm going to go with T. Higgins, too.
Okay.
I'm going to go with
Correct
T.
answer is C. T. Higgins. But the stat lines: Debo Samuel, 6 for 115 and 1. DK Metcalf, 7 for 149.
That was
149.
T. Higgins, 7 for 124 and 1. So I was hoping the DK one would throw you guys off. It's going to get a little harder now. We move on to round 3. Quarterback.
Oh, man.
This quarterback had a 378 yards and 4 passing touchdowns in week 4. Which of these 3 players matched the stat? Jared Goff, Patrick Mahomes, Tom Brady.
It's Jared Goff.
It's Jared Goff.
Correct
'Cause
answer is Jared Goff.
Tom Brady only had 3 touchdowns. He did almost have 400 yards passing, though. That's just the Lions, man.
He's slinging it, dude.
Scoring 45
Jared
points
Goff
and
is
losing.
slinging it.
I was hoping the Pat Mahomes and Brady would throw you guys off because that game was 41-31.
They both had very good passing stats, too.
Yeah.
But I remember Brady's being better just because he threw a lot of. I'm not gonna lie, he honestly threw a lot of garbage time passes.
I'm glad you guys pay attention to the game of football.
I would hope so. At least
We
a
know-
little bit of
these
attention.
men know their shit. So we go into the final round, and I believe it's the hardest. Tight end. This tight end had 5 catches for 72 yards in week 4. Which of these 3 players matched that stat? Tyler Higbee, Pat Fryermuth, or Dallas Goedert?
I think it's Dallas Goedert.
It's not Higbee because he had.
Higbee
Almost-
definitely had more than five
he had
catches.
Yeah.
Because I was watching the game last night. He definitely.
Frymuth, I think he had. Did he have 5 catches?
I'm gonna lock in
What
Dallas
was it? It was
Goedert.
5 catches for what?
What's that?
What was the stat line again?
5 catches for 72 yards. Pat Fryermuth, Tyler Higbee, Dallas Goedert. I'll tell you this.
I think it was.
All of them had 6 targets.
I'm gonna lock in Dallas
I don't think it was
Goedert
Goddard,
for my answer.
but I have Frymuth.
I have them too.
I'm gonna say it was the Muth.
Okay. You're going
I'm
Fryermuth,
gonna say it's the Muth,
Dallas Goedert.
even though it.
I'm
I
gonna
think it
lock
might have
in
been Dallas Goddard, but I'm gonna go the Muth.
Correct answer is Dallas Goedert.
I also have Dallas Goedert on my team.
Okay.
I couldn't remember.
But-
'cause I have Frymuth.
So I'm kind of biased. My answer's skewed.
Okay. I think that went well. That was the final round of that game. Match that stat or you go shit in your hat. They both split and then both got 2 correct.
Maybe next time we'll use worse players
I think we should do worse players.
to make it
Yeah,
harder.
it's gonna be
Yeah.
a little bit
Hey,
harder.
it's a little
We
experiment.
can also change up who reads off so that way we all get the guess.
Yeah.
'Cause I want to see your guesses too.
sometimes you stay up late at night and you just come up with crazy ideas. And I was just like, I'm going to do this. So
But you got another game for us too, right?
another game. I think it's a very important game because with this game, I specifically handpicked players from the 3 of our teams
Oh,
in our big money league. Now, this is drop, trade, hold. And you tell me what your next move is with these players. So the first player I present to you, Travis Etienne. Oh, wait.
No, I'm playing. So
Yeah. Well, Travis Etienne, what are we doing?
Travis,
I know. I got the.
Travis Etienne, drop, hold, trade.
Yeah, Travis Etienne.
Wow. Okay. So I'm actually glad you asked about this one because I've been
Because
thinking
we
about
got
this
I would
myself.
try to trade. I would trade.
I would hold him. I think that the snaps are getting more evenly split each week. Travis Etienne has been really bad so far, but I don't even think it's worth trading him or dropping him. I think you're going to get a shit offer if you trade him. Don't drop him. Who are you picking up?
Yeah,
Craig
don't drop
Reynolds?
him. Yeah, you don't want to
Brandon
drop him.
Bolden,
Yeah, there's
Eno Benjamin, Mike Boone. I don't even care. I'm not dropping him for Mike Boone either. I'm not even picking up Mike Boone, to tell you the truth.
Well, they just
So-
signed Latavius Murray, so
They're just going to fucking just
I'm
roll out
holding
5
him.
backs at a time.
What about you? You have him, Brian. What are you doing?
See, with his production, I want to drop him out of spite, but I'm going to hold him because he is basically the number 2 guy there. And God forbid anything happens to James Robinson,
Which is possible.
which is possible, but we don't bank on that. The Travis Etienne shareholders, I think, should hold on to him for at least until midseason, like when we get close to the midpoint. And if he's still doing nothing for you, and you desperately need players, I think,
just kill him.
yeah, just
send him to the
move on and
slaughterhouse.
find somebody
Just
else.
cut
But
him.
right now,
send him
I'm
to the
holding
slaughterhouse.
Travis Etienne because
Thanks, Chris.
I believe he does have the talent, and I believe opportunities could come around, and they might be forced into opportunities.
I agree.
So
He did have a lot of carries on Sunday against the Eagles.
But I will say
he did
games-
get a good
The game script ended up favoring him a little more, though, eventually.
True.
Plus, James Robinson wasn't really running too. I'm not going to be shocked if it's a hot hand kind of thing. But look, I still don't think it's worth trading him for nothing
Yeah.
and dropping him.
because like I said, you got to look at value. What are you trading Travis Etienne
Well, I
for?
think that's the thing. It depends on what you can get.
I mean,
It's like if you're going to get some bullcrap deal that's not going to benefit you or like either party, then no, you don't want to do it. You got to hold
Yeah.
on to him, of course.
Would you trade him for like Michael Thomas?
I wouldn't. I don't think I would.
Thomas is hurt.
'Cause
I'd
it's
rather
just
not
every
trade a
other day.
healthy
It's just
player.
chew.
But I feel like this is kind of in the realm of offers you're going to get, though, for a guy like that.
What are some players that could be traded for Travis Etienne?
Brandon Ayuk. I mean, like, are you doing that?
I have him. I mean,
Because,
not really.
like, I mean, yeah, like, are you going to? So, I would hold him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hold him.
Hold him. Let's move on to Chase Edmonds. I'm dropping him.
He's a drop for you?
I would drop him.
Wow.
I
Raheem
don't think I
Mostert
think
is the
it's
guy.
Raheem Mostert. I think it's his team.
I would try to package him in a trade.
You
I
think?
would try to see what you can get, see how desperate a team is, see if a team really needs a running back, see if you could package him with a receiver, maybe.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I'll tell you what, Nick offered me. Now I thought I was gonna lose this week. Nick had offered me Marquise Brown and Chase Edmonds for Debo, and before this week, I really thought about that trade. Now Debo did go off finally.
I don't think that really helps you, though.
But it doesn't. That's why I didn't take it. But I would try. I would shop him around, package him with a decent. Maybe you have a lot of receivers on your team.
Yeah.
Package him with a receiver. See if you can upgrade at running back. I would try to do that before you drop him.
Yeah.
He's still a running back on a good offense. We'll have scoring
Well-
opportunities. Raheem Mostert is fucking made of glass. We know that. Look, I'm not betting on it. I don't want him to get hurt. I'm not banking on him getting hurt. I've owned Raheem Mostert in fantasy in the past before. If you've owned Raheem Mostert at any point in fantasy,
You've been fucking
you've
mad.
been fucked
Yep.
at some point because the poor guy can't stay healthy.
Nope.
So I would try to trade him.
It's just pain.
I would look into trading him, but my gut feeling is that nobody's going to want him.
Mm.
And I feel it's been 4 games of this, and he's like just a 3-down back. Like, if there's nobody better on the waiver wire, maybe if you need a receiver and there's somebody better out there, maybe you can do that. But he's such a disappointment. And they gave him all that money. Horse shit.
Don't know why they pay running backs.
Like,
but
why?
Who's next?
Rashad Bateman.
I'm keeping him.
I would look into trading him, but I would probably hold him, most likely.
As a Devin Duvernay holder, I would say probably hold him.
Look, I think Mark Andrews is the wide receiver 1.
Obviously, like, clearly.
Obviously.
Just like
So,
Travis Kelce.
I think it's going to be a similar situation to the Chiefs, where it's going to be Mark Andrews and then a bunch of guys getting maybe 5, maybe 6 targets. I think Rashad Bateman is a high upside flex play.
Yeah.
I think he's a deep threat with Lamar Jackson, who I don't give a shit what anybody says, can gun the fucking ball, who can throw deep. We've seen it with Hollywood Brown before. Lamar could have had 5 more touchdowns last year. Hollywood knew how to catch. Well, he looks like he could do it this year, but no. So he's a deep threat, high upside flex play. I think he can win you a week or lose you a game. I think he's gonna, I guess, like a Deshaun Jackson-esque, kind of maybe in his later years kind of guy where he's getting you 30 or 5 kind of thing. But I mean, you'll take that. That's better than guys you can get off the waiver wire for the most part.
Absolutely.
You're not picking up studs at this point.
No, definitely not. No dropping with Rashad Bateman. That would be pretty miscalculated.
Yeah.
You could test out. I would look into sniffing out through trades.
Maybe you have him and Mike Williams and your
Now-
team just a migraine.
The reason why I mention dropping with these players is some leagues do have a bench size of 4. Like, I'm in some leagues like that where you have to make pretty tough decisions. Like, there might be certain guys on the waiver wire that are in that situation are a lot better looking than some of these players right now. Because the way I see it, Rashad Bateman, I'm holding him and I'm going to look for trading him, but he's kind of a one-trick pony.
He's a deep threat.
Deep threat.
I've kind of seen that.
You got to hope he catches a 50-yard bomb, but
But if you're in a regular league with a like a bench size of 6 or 7,
hold him.
I would hold him
Yeah.
100%.
But some leagues, I've seen it and I've been in them. I am in them. They have 4 bench spots and maybe not even an IR spot, and they need to pick up guys. So sometimes you have to make tough decisions. You have that thing on you? Excuse me. Let's move on to Elijah Moore. Drop, trade, hold.
Fucking God, man.
Floor is yours, boys.
I guess I'll take.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'll let you go
'Cause-
first on this one.
This was my fantasy MVP pick before this year. I mean, I just thought from what we saw last, is that dead?
I think it's empty. Or I don't know.
There's no way this is empty.
It's probably dead.
It's got to be
It
dead.
tastes like burnt toast.
This is a nice catch, actually. So I'm glad that we brought this up because I have Elijah Moore on my team, and I have genuinely thought about dropping him this week. Now, at the same time, who are you really gonna drop him for?
Yeah.
Like, who is really that much better on the waiver wire? Like, at this point, would you drop Elijah Moore for Romeo Dobbs?
I would.
I would.
I so would.
I think that now I do have
What did
both
he
of
do
these
this
guys
past
on my team, but I do think I would as well.
What did he do this past
He
game?
fucking didn't do anything. He just
Again?
fucking 9 points.
Look.
Again. And I mean, look, it's just getting to the point where like you can't start him anymore. And Do you drop him?
If
Or
Garrett
do you-
Wilson's still out there, I'd rather drop Elijah
would-
Moore for Garrett Wilson.
So would
Yeah.
I would drop him, and it's like you want to just bet on the talent because we saw it last year, but like I mean, come on,
like
Yeah.
we can't.
you know, like
This is getting fucking ridiculous.
you've played some bad defenses too, and you really haven't done anything. So, it's hard, and it's like Zach Wilson isn't exactly reliable, you know. So
No, he's not reliable. I don't think that passing attack is reliable.
Yeah.
depending on who's available on waivers, I would drop him.
I would
That's
drop
what
him.
I would say. I
If
would
Garrett
say I would
Wilson was
drop him.
still there, I would drop him for Garrett Wilson.
I drop him for Romeo Dobbs.
Romeo Dobbs. If Rashad White is out there, I would drop him for him.
Would you actually?
Running back for the
Yeah,
for the Bucks with Leonard Fournette banged up. Yeah, but of course he got drafted, so he's not on our waivers.
No, why would he?
Fucking hate that.
people who held him all year are smart because what was the point of dropping him?
Yeah,
Yep.
that's why these handcuffs always fucking work out. You don't hope for an injury, you don't pray for one, but they happen and they improve your team, unfortunately.
I've seen some leagues that even have Adam Thielen on waivers. I would drop Elijah Moore for Adam Thielen so quick. I wouldn't even have to think. If to be honest, if George Pickens, I'd probably drop him for George Pickens.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Is
too.
absolutely.
there anybody else?
Not that I can think of off the top of my
I
head.
don't think so.
That could like obviously be on waivers.
I think that's probably a majority of leagues that have at least half those players
Hey,
on there.
maybe a league with a smaller bench,
Yeah.
so somebody dropped DJ Moore. Yeah, I would drop Elijah Moore for DJ Moore
Really?
without even thinking about
Yeah,
it.
I probably would too.
I probably would. Just because Moore is more proven.
Maybe
Yeah.
somebody dropped Jerry Jeudy. Maybe you have a really deep league. Somebody dropped Jerry Jeudy. I would drop Elijah Moore for that. There's really not.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't even know, man. Even like Richie James at this point. I mean, I don't know. Elijah Moore hasn't even had 10 points yet.
Yeah.
In a game.
Yeah. When you're not even cracking double digits at all throughout the season, you're fucking useless to me.
Right, and
Sorry.
you're
Which is why I
not.
fucking hate Zeke.
And most leagues don't have two flexes. We have two. So if you're starting Elijah Moore in your only flex spot, then get him the fuck out of there.
Yeah, and
Like-
you're never starting him.
Not
and
now.
You're not going to get. If there's guys like Romeo Dubs out there, go and get them for. If you need to drop somebody, I'm dropping Elijah Moore there. So
Yeah.
we're all drop for that. Let's move on to Michael Thomas.
Hold.
Nah, I'm holding him.
Yeah,
Holding him?
I think you got to hold him.
He's just. I don't think his injury's serious. I think he'll play this week. It's his toe.
I would hold him.
Get used to having a Q next to his name every week if you
Yeah.
have him. That's just
Yeah.
it's like Julio Jones all over again. Just get used to having a Q next to his name.
But you're not going to be able to maximize his trade value just
True.
because he's injured. People
Exactly.
see the Q, they're not going to want the guy. So I'm holding him.
I would hold him too.
You
Okay.
know,
I would hold him, but look to trade him. But hold for a little bit
Again,
until
if
he
you get
gets
the
playing
if you
again.
get the right deal, of course you got to take it. But
I think his value would go up.
Yeah.
To where you could probably get more, probably by the end of this month when he's playing again.
maybe
he missed what? He's only missed one game, right? It was last week.
he
Or
missed last
two?
week, and that was it.
That was it.
He
Okay.
went
so.
out of the game early though.
Okay.
In
Week 3.
week 3, he went out and he was on pace to have a good game that week. So like he's been good so far. Like I really would hold him.
Yeah.
I think as long as he plays, maybe if he has a game where he gets 30, try to move him.
Yeah.
But I don't know, man. I like him right now. I like Michael Thomas.
Yeah,
right
I don't
now.
think you can give up on him yet. I think you got to just hold it and hope.
Jameis Winston has shown he can support multiple fantasy wide receivers before.
Yep.
He did it with Mike Evans and fucking Vincent Jackson. He can do it. You know, he's thrown 30 touchdowns before. You know, people shit on him because he threw 30 picks too. But
30 touchdowns isn't easy to throw off.
Yeah, I
It's
think
something,
I think it's too early to give up.
That was
Again,
the
it's week
weirdest
4.
season of all
It's
time.
week 4. Like
he
you
has
gotta.
been, even without his touchdowns, he would still average damn near double-digit points. He's still a solid flex play.
Yep.
You know, I'll take that on my team.
Okay, so we're all holding Mike Thomas.
I would
Yep.
hold him.
I would hold.
All right, let's move on to Chris Godwin now.
Oh my God, we're just bullying my team in this
I'm
episode.
bullying all of our teams.
I would have to hold him just because you don't know. I can't say
Yeah.
I would cut. Like if
I would
he
hold
comes
him.
back and he's anywhere near what he was,
You got to steal.
you gotta steal. You gotta hold on to that.
That's
like,
kind of why I'm holding him, because I feel like even trading him right now, what are you going to get for Chris
Exactly.
Godwin right now? And he just came back. First game back, where he played the full game all year. He had 7 catches, 12 points.
and you're sure as
First-
hell not dropping him.
First game back from an injury, an ACL tear. And, he messed up, what was it, his hamstring? Which apparently is
Yeah.
common after an ACL tear. That can happen. He comes back after his first game and has 7 catches right
Yeah.
away on a good offense with the best quarterback of all time. I'd hold him.
Yeah, I think you gotta hold him.
I would, same thing as Mike Thomas. I would hold him and look to trade him because at the seasons has ebbs and flows. These players at their lowest, you're not getting any value out of them. But once they start playing again, they put a couple good games together. That's when I look to move them, because unfortunately, like with injuries, as we've seen in the past, if you've been hurt multiple times already in a year and then you go back out there and you're getting contact, your chances of getting re-injured are they're significantly higher. And that these kinds of players scare me for that reason, like DeAndre Swift, Michael Thomas, and Chris Godwin, like where they've already been hurt a couple times this year, and it scares me to hold them. So I would look until they start playing again, put some good games together, and then I would look to maybe package them in a trade and upgrade.
It's just so hard to move on from those
Yeah, I know
guys.
it's hard, but
Because like DeAndre Swift was my guy. I loved him so much this year. He died Austin Eckler.
mhm.
Yeah.
And he looked like that, and now he has multiple injuries. It just sucks. It's really hard to move those guys.
It's hard to
but-
move, but this is how you win championships. Is you can't get too attached to your players. You have to look at the writing on the wall, and try and upgrade down the line so
Pretty
that
much.
if you're a winning team now, you don't stay stagnant and
Yep.
you improve, and that's what puts you over the top.
Would you trade Chris Godwin and something for Najee?
No.
Or would you trade just Chris Godwin for Najee?
I don't even
Honestly,
know if I would do that.
not with Najee. I would do that for, honestly, Dalvin Cook.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
do you even think that the Dalvin Cook owner would do that? Because I wouldn't if I had Dalvin Cook.
He's
I don't
been
know.
very, very.
He's been low, but the thing is with this, Najee Harris, you're not gonna get anything for. You're just not.
Maybe
You're
not at this
gonna
point.
get. People were out here thinking, oh, he was my first round pick. I need to get a first round talent back. It's not gonna happen.
But what if the offense ends up being better with Kenny,
I would wait and
like
see.
we were
what-
saying? But
I
then
just
you
don't
might not
think
be
it's-
able to get him.
That's what I'm saying.
so,
and it's
like-
a whole thing.
I don't know, man. I might consider trading off Chris Godwin just because I love Chris Godwin. He just tore his ACL and hurt his hamstring, which is common, but hamstring injuries tend to linger throughout the
Yeah.
year.
Yeah, it happened with
So-
Dalvin Cook before. I was an owner in 2018, and Leonard Fournette. Like when these guys get hurt multiple and separate times throughout the year, or at the beginning of the year, we're not even at the midway point, and don't ever do that again.
I literally did this to my nose.
Whatever
Just made the
noise,
bro.
whatever noise that was, I don't know. It just put a rage inside me. All right, let's move on to Zeke Elliott now.
Oh, this motherfucker.
So drop, trade, hold,
Trade.
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 I'm looking.
And I'm trying to trade him, and I just fucking can't.
I'm looking
It's
for
hard.
anything I can get. I don't think it's worth dropping him.
It's not worth dropping.
Um,
Well,
but-
now it's kind of hard for me because with Javonte Williams going down, thanks Nathaniel Hackett, it's going to be a lot tougher. I don't really have another running back.
Yeah, I mean, if you can get a better deal somehow, I would do it. I would trade him, but like I feel like holding him also, you have to start him. You most likely don't have a better option as your RB2,
Yeah.
and he's just gonna keep being mid.
Yep.
He's gonna be mid for you.
painfully,
It's
man.
Painfully
painful.
mid.
It's painful.
All right, I think we all have a good understanding on Zeke Elliott. Let's move on to, we have 2 left. DeAndre Hopkins. We're on your team now.
That's
Buddy.
fine. I have to hold him for me because I don't really have running backs. I don't. I have in that league, I'm trying to think. I had Javonte Williams and I have James Robinson. That's my other running back. So now I have Zeke and James Robinson. I could be 3-1 in that league, but I went up against Mark when he dropped like 200 fucking points on me. So there was no way I was winning that week, no matter what.
Thanks, Lamar Jackson.
Fuck you, Lamar Jackson. For me, I'm holding him because I look at it as I'm going to have Justin Jefferson, Mike Evans, DeAndre Hopkins, and somebody else. Those wide receivers, if Hopkins comes back, even if he puts up like flex numbers, like 15 points or something, that's fine. My running backs are kind of like, all right, you're useless. I don't really need them. So for me, it's holding them, but I wouldn't mind trading if the trade's right. It's just a really difficult thing of people really aren't going to want to give up that much to trade for him because he's suspended. And you're not going to want to give him up for something shit because he is going to be a number one wide receiver. And seeing as how Kyler Murray is peppering the shit out of Marquise Brown, once D-Hop comes back.
Because he's not hurt. He's only suspended.
He's only suspended, exactly. And that's why
That's the thing.
for me, it's like, I can't trade him unless I know I'm getting something decent.
I don't think Marquise Brown's production is sustainable either, to be honest.
Yeah. That's why I really think it's once. I mean, look at what happened. Rondell Moore came back. Greg Dortch went from getting 10 targets a game. He had 1 target.
That's
which
true.
means the 10 targets that he was getting, 9 of them just vanished.
And Zach Ertz is still getting a healthy amount of targets
and once
each week.
D-Hop comes back, he's going to demand those targets. We've seen it before. Kyler Murray, literally the video that came out of him seeing one-on-one coverage, and he literally fucking laughed and then threw the ball to DeAndre Hopkins. Like,
I do remember seeing that video. Yeah,
you know,
laughed.
like it's one of those things where I
It's
feel
so
like
funny.
you're on week 4. He's suspended for 2 more games. Just hold him at this point.
I would say if you're in the 4-0, 3-1 club,
hold him.
Hold him. If you're the losing club, look to trade him. I'm sure one of those winning teams will be willing to give up a price for DeAndre Hopkins.
At least
The
something.
potential of DeAndre Hopkins back in the lineup.
Maybe an RB2.
All right. I think that's everything we have to say about DeAndre Hopkins.
Who's
And
your
the
last
last
one?
player,
You can probably guess who the last one is if we're on my team.
yeah, you probably saw it.
Yeah.
Mr. James Robinson.
If you didn't trade him last week, I'm sorry.
I'm not trading him.
I just think he's going to be touchdown dependent the whole year.
He went up against the Eagles defense in a rain game.
Yeah, but but to be even against the Chargers, like if you took away his 50-yard touchdown, it's nothing. That game, like I think he's going to be very dependent on his touchdowns and the Jaguars' offense being good. If they continue to be good, maybe he scores 10 touchdowns this year.
I think
Maybe-
we know where I stand with this.
Maybe he scores 12 touchdowns this year, but I just don't really see it. I mean, definitely not dropping him. No way. But
yeah.
I would look to see what you can get in the trade. If you have to hold him, I mean, it's not the end of the world. Like I still think you have a good player.
Yeah, I don't think the bad game that he had last week is going to make Doug Peterson go, oh, well, that's it. Travis Etienne, your team, have fun. It was a shit show. It was a fucking hurricane outside. No team was really throwing the ball. Even when they did try to throw the ball, it was terrible. So,
That's why the running backs went off.
yeah, that's
Hurricane
just,
Ian.
Yeah, it's just one of the things where it's kind of like he went up against the Eagles defense. They played really good run defense. It's really not that hard to kind of stop the run when it's a rain game. You're kind of like, oh shit, I wonder what they're going to do. Odds are they're running the ball. So I'm not really worried that much. He isn't explosive. Like he's showing.
I don't know,
explosive.
man. He looks
Nah,
more
he's
explosive than he
showing-
did before his fucking injury.
He's showing explosive. He's showing some explosiveness, but like I'm not worried. I can't be worried. A rain game where you're more than likely going to run.
I'm not
You're not going to get something.
worried about it. I just think that he is going to be he's going to rush in like the 70 to 100-yard club, and he's going to depend on his touchdowns a lot. And not every league has bonuses.
Yeah.
So if you get 100 yards, that's 10 points in some leagues. So yes, I think he's going to rely on his touchdowns a lot. I think he's going to be good. He's going to be a steady RB2 for fantasy. He's going to be nice. He's going to look nice at the end of the year. He's going to have like a blow-up game or two. He's going to score a long touchdown. But yeah, I think I would look to trade him. But if you're a good team, maybe hold him, because what's the point, really? Because you're not going to get very many better RB2s. We talked about this in the last episode about running backs.
Yeah, I'd hold James Robinson, but I would look into trades.
Yeah.
See what you can get. Some people, I mean, you might have a better, he might be in your flex and you have a better RB2 option and you can flip him for a better receiver and maybe just like a lesser running back, like, I don't know, Miles Sanders.
Mm.
Miles Sanders and a receiver for James Robinson. I'd do something like that. Like, let's say somebody's just looking to trade T. Higgins and Miles Sanders for James Robinson. Would you take that?
I would have to take that.
Oh yeah.
I would
For
have
T.
to take that
Higgins?
for T.
Yeah,
Higgins.
just to get-
for the fact that T. Higgins, I would have to take it.
Okay. I would take that too.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that concludes our game of drop, trade, hold. I hope that was fun for you guys. It was fun for me.
That
Let's
was
move
fun.
into the last segment of the show, and that's planning our next move for the following week here. So I lost Tua. You lost Javonte Williams.
Yep.
You lose anybody?
No, but I still have a bunch of guys who are questionable on my team. Whole bunch of Qs.
What kinds of players are we looking at on the waiver wire that we want? Because I'm looking into Jared Goff. If I'm a Tua owner,
Yeah.
if you're also a Russell Wilson owner, I would look into Jared Goff. Even Geno Smith.
Yeah.
As crazy as it sounds, that team will be down, and they will. That defense is not that great.
Unbelievable.
It's gonna be. They're
Geno
gonna.
Smith.
Geno Smith has to throw the ball,
He's been
and he's
good
doing
so
it Like,
far.
what?
Yeah, he's been good. It's just crazy.
But yeah, Jared Goff, Geno Smith, I would look into.
David
Um,
Njoku.
I think you have to look
I
into
think
him
you
if
have
need
to
a
look
tight
into
end.
him.
Because I mean, depending on who you're, I mean, like if you're a Kyle Pitts owner, you may be benching him next week for David Njoku. Are you thinking about it?
I think you,
You
gotta
might
think about
need
it.
to get me fucking hammered for that to make a decision.
I wouldn't, but I have Zach Ertz, so
If I had Zach Ertz and Kyle Pitts, I would do that until I start seeing them throw him the fucking ball. Like
Right.
he's not getting targeted. Like I don't know what else to say about him.
Yeah.
We already spent a while on him, so the tight end. It's rough as always.
it's pretty ugly. But
You know what? No, never mind. I'm not going to say his name.
I saw who it was. Too.
Not even going to bother.
Falcons backfield. Are you picking anybody up? Are you picking up Tyler Algier or
with me being
I would pick
down,
Caleb Huntley?
I would throw like a couple bucks on Caleb Huntley.
with me being down Javonte Williams in like 2 leagues, the 14-man league, I'm really not that worried. I'm just gonna bank on Dalvin Cook still playing like shit, and Alexander Madison just takes a bigger role. But in our league, I'm probably gonna go after like Raheem
Raheem.
Mostert or even Michael Carter. He's not doing great, but at the same time, when you look at the amount of points Javonte Williams was putting up, he was only putting up like 8-9 points besides week 1.
I would throw a couple
I'm-
bucks on Michael Carter. To be honest, if he's on waivers,
Have fun. Have fun.
you just never know.
I had
mean,
to drop him because of Chuba Hubbard and McCaffrey.
Running backs are few and far between. I maybe
Yeah.
throw a couple bucks on him.
Well, yeah, a lot of people I feel like dropped him. I guess you could take a shot on him, but I've had him. Enjoy. Have fun. Bon voyage. And Raheem Mostert, I am so fucking going after hard. Like, you don't even know what's about to hit you, Tim.
I put a lot of my fab on him.
I can't wait to see this bidding
Oh,
war.
Oh, you're $10.
Yeah,
Yeah.
$10.
yeah,
I have
because you
left.
put like $100 on Fryermuth.
Well, I'm gonna look at whatever you have, and if I have more, I'm just gonna put more than you. So, yeah, definitely Raheem Mostert, Michael Carter. Those are Mike Boone. He's worth a shot. I would throw a couple bucks on him.
Possibly,
He's
I
not
wouldn't,
somebody
but-
I would fucking blow your fab on.
No, but
or
I'd
waiver
throw a
priority.
couple bucks. Yeah, I wouldn't put like $40 on him.
He's not gonna step
$50 on
in
him.
and become Javonte Williams, or what the
Well,
Javonte Williams
You
was supposed
also
to
got
be.
to think though they did sign Latavius Murray. That
Yeah.
is going to have some big of an impact.
They're just
So,
gonna rotate these guys and mid their way off to the playoffs.
painfully mid. so
Painfully
far.
fucking
Like,
mid.
painful.
Tyler Algier.
No, I would throw a couple bucks on Tyler Algier. I'm
I
actually
would-
kind of mad I dropped him because I had him, but like you
mm,
can't predict injuries.
Yeah. Fuck. I would go like 15 on him
Yeah, I would throw a little bit
around
of
that
money on him.
range.
He did have like 11 carries this week and had 80 yards. So
But how long do you think that's sustainable? Because Caleb Huntley also had 10 carries.
might be a hot hand thing.
So I would be
throw
wise
10
about your money
I throw
on
like $10, $15
$10,
on him,
$15. I wouldn't go more than that on him.
depending on how much you play with.
Ken Walker.
I mean, is he on waivers
I would-
in most
yeah.
leagues?
If you're 4-0 and looking to
Yeah.
stash somebody,
Yeah, maybe. It depends on who you got on your bench
because he could easily step in
at any point.
at
I
any
mean,
point.
Rashad Penny's looked decent, though. I mean, he had a really good game last week. So,
Yeah, if you have the roster space and you're a winning team, you could probably get Ken Walker for fucking free.
and I feel like you're almost banking on an injury with Ken Walker because
Well, that's not the point of banking on an injury.
not the point. But
It's you're more so for the history of injuries. They're always around. You want to be prepared.
the Seahawks are just a weird team. Like they do use Travis Homer to like. I just don't know how much Ken Walker will play. I guess it depends on how big of a bench you have.
Yeah, if you have the space, he's a nice ad, and yeah, I don't pray for an injury, but just be ready if in case there is one, because they do happen.
Pretty much.
Unfortunately, we can't turn it off like Madden. So
No.
I always turn it off when I fucking play Madden because I can't stand it. Nobody should get hurt.
Well, guys get hurt like every game in Madden, like every other
Sucks.
play.
Wide receiver wise, I always see Marquez Valdez-Scantling just sitting at the top of the list, and I don't give a Frenchman's fuck. I really
don't fucking
don't.
want anything
I
to
don't-
do with him.
I don't want to get
care.
near him with a 10-foot pole.
I mean, if Romeo Dobbs is still available, I would grab him. Definitely.
I would take a shot on Isaiah McKenzie.
I
he's
would
out there.
too if he's available.
He's a good piece. He's a part of a high volume passing offense with Josh Allen as his quarterback.
I do think now, though, something that you might want to keep your eye on. I wouldn't pick him up yet with Zach Wilson back. You might have to start keeping your eye on Corey Davis.
I
'Cause
was
he looked
actually
like-
looking at
he
him
looked like
earlier.
he was throwing at him a
Yes.
lot.
I was actually thinking about dropping Elijah Moore for Corey Davis.
I would so drop Elijah Moore for Corey Davis.
Yeah, at this because it seems like Zach Wilson likes Corey Davis more.
I think-
He's peppering him. So
I think if you're struggling with your flex or your second flex, whatever your fucking situation is, you could probably. I would go $15 on Corey Davis. Around
Corey
that
Davis,
range.
you
I
never-
15 to
think
18.
around that range you could probably get
Look,
him.
Corey Davis too. You never know. This guy was a high draft pick. Like we've seen flashes before. Guys do look at Cordell Patterson.
Yeah.
Like the guys just do break out sometimes at later stages of their careers. So you never know. Maybe throw a little bit of money on Corey Davis.
I would.
Maybe I will this week.
Yeah. The rest I really don't want to talk about.
Yeah.
Yeah, they all.
I don't think
suck.
we need to.
Nope.
We
Noah
don't need to say much
Brown.
about it. And I think that's it for waivers, honestly, because the rest
Yeah.
of it's fucking trash.
Oh, it's awful. It's
So-
hideous.
It's brutal.
With that being said, as our last segment, we are closing out this episode. We thank you all for those who are listening. Appreciate your time. And remember to do all the things we said in the intro. So have a great day.
Yep.
And peace out.
See you
Have a
next
good one.
time.
See you next time.